Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spin Rack, and we also have
Calvin Ellis ready to rock.
now there's a new doc that's coming. They've been putting it on Facebook, and there's also a trailer for it, Alien Expanded. They're gonna have to talk about the whole history of the movie Aliens. At some one point, Aliens was the most popular Alien movie, and at some point, as it became a franchise, people went back and started looking at the original because the second one was so action packed. They're like, "Oh my God, this one's even better." But since there's a doc on it and there's a new Aliens movie coming out, I thought we should look at this thing. And Cal, any thoughts before I start playing this?
Nope. Let's see what goes.
All right, ready, set.
I'm Jim Cameron, and this is Aliens Expanded.
Talk to me, Hudson! Multiple signals!
Without a doubt, Aliens is the best movie that I've ever been in.
We all knew that we had something.
If you're gonna only be in one movie, this was the movie to be in.
I don't think we had seen that in film before.
It was so real.
It's brilliant.
It's so fresh, so exciting, so adrenal.
Let's pack 'em in! Get in there!
I want this thing to go smooth and by the numbers.
Paxton turned to me and was like, "Oh dude, this is gonna be so awesome."
This wasn't just a hit movie, it was something that would really endure.
A phenomenal piece of filmmaking.
I'd been on a lot of sets, but this one was the next level.
In my mind, it was experimental cinema. Everybody thought I was nuts.
Is he going to be casual? Is he going to be a monster?
He was under pressure. If you're screwing around, he's gonna tell you. A little bit of abuse doesn't hurt.
And it all just went dark.
6.
Remember, short, controlled bursts. Just shock and awe.
We were all cheering for Sigourney.
She goes 100% feral.
But she's got the gun and the flamethrower.
He's alive. There's still time.
It definitely is movie history.
It was a great time in my life.
Get away from her, you bitch!
I was born to make that movie.
So we're gonna stop here. Just to say, there's gonna be a bunch of things connected to this, as you see. I think there's always some way you can also participate in the production of this, but you get all this stuff, along with it. And I think there's going to be some sort of interactive thing too, where you get to go through this. But can you give your thoughts on Aliens?
As a franchise or based
Or
on
just the
what we're
movie?
seeing?
They're sticking with the movie. They're not talking about the franchise. They're sticking with Aliens. So we're sticking with Aliens. We don't have to go to anything besides that movie. You don't even have to go to the first one.
Great sequel that was probably unwanted and unasked. It was unwanted, unasked for, and delivered much, much better than anybody would have ever expected. First one was horror. Second one was action. Great development of. I mean, the first one is the traditional horror story with the last person surviving. Whether people may realize it or not, horror films usually tend to showcase the female lead more. If out of the whole thing with the Scream Queen with the Scream Queen franchises or the Scream Queen films at the end of the day. So when Ripley survives, it shouldn't be looked upon as this girl, this great shot that the woman saw. Like, no, that's usually who ends up making it out of the horror film at the end of the day. However, to transition from that to the action, and in the action, there was no loss of character on her part. I mean, there are parts where she's tough as nails, and there are parts where she's very maternal and nurturing, all of that in that film with edge of your seat sequences when those aliens end up, just really good. Really good. Hats off to it. That was a great film.
Yeah, when I first saw this thing, I was interested, and then I was also glad to hear that, there's just going to be something not just on Facebook that everyone could see it and try to figure, get a copy and whatnot and that sort of thing. But going back I think over time, because I think me, my brother, and my cousin, we'd watch, I think he had a TV cut of it. So we had watched it a few times when we visited him in Connecticut. So it was kind of some of the other stuff caught up with us later. So it was like a good movie at the time because we were so much into the first one. And then over time, as it was just sort of a public thing, there's pieces that people started to point out to say, wait a second, this is more than just, hey, here's an action-packed sequel, which from its scientific beginnings. And as I'm looking at it myself, saying, oh, okay, one of the cool things is that since the other one was so behind the corridors and type of stuff, this one you got to see big reveals early on of the alien way earlier. And you get to see the big shot of the alien with the girl behind it, some classic stuff that you would see. Whereas, I think when people were comparing the two, they were like, well, this wasn't in there. It's like, no, the whole point was it was playing with your mind what you thought what the monster was. So the monster could be a little more theatrical and just be like, hey, in the first. With the other one, the monster would be more like how the creature would move, where you get to see, and they got more money to do a lot of other stuff, where a lot of money was put into the set design in the first one. So it's like, there's so many bits, and then when you come on, you got someone go to you and they start doing, the Bill Paxton, game over, man. And it's like, oh, wait a second, that I should have picked up on that early on too. So it's like, as a fan of the first, it was a slow burn. And then at the same time, once you start seeing, say, oh yeah, this is there's so many good things, and you watch it, there's so much plot in it. Her coming back home, her being kind of benched, like she can't do anything, and then they have this opportunity that comes up for her, and then she has to take it because there's nothing else going, and she's basically in the same predicament with the same people, but she's side-eyeing the the robot or the android, and not side-eyeing the person that got her into supposed to be helping her. And we even got a big scene with the face huggers, where we got one quick scene, we got a long scene where you had two people stuck in a room getting chased around by the face huggers. And I think that's what the more recent one, was it Romulus, is going to do. They're going to play with the face huggers a lot more, because there's an element there that you can play with. But Aliens already did it, so. And that's the hardest part, is having the two being so great as going forward. But, it's good if you're a fan and you get to hear, it's always good to hear different stories from, I've listened to a few podcasts with the cast of Aliens, the ones that they've had on deck. At the time, they always seem to have a different mix of people on deck to do the interviews. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm not sure if I need the sewing patches. Never always work for me because I never sew it on, but it goes with all the other stuff with the t-shirts and that it feels like it's just something cool to have. Any other thoughts, Cal?
No, I think that says it all.
All right, then check it out. I'll try to have a link for all the stuff so you guys can check out. Not just, the trailer you'll see, but if there's any other stuff, you guys can go to and check it out and get your, U.S. United States Corporal Marine Corps certificate and whatnot. And there's also some comic books out there, the Vasquez, and talking about that these were kind of criminal things that they got out of prison so to become Marines. So they come up with an involved story outside. This is not in this thing, but there's comic books out there for these characters. Spinner Rack.
We're out.